then you can sort of scare teams into using a ban on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very legitimate strategy. We've seen it before. I mean, all throughout, even in just traditional sports and things like that, you use a certain strategy all throughout. And look at this, picks going down really quickly on both sides.
Well, so I really, first of all, I really like the first pick, Leshrac, out of Fnatic. We've talked about Leshrac a number of times here already at the panel. I think if there's one team that I actually like to see seriously think about incorporating and support Leshrac, it is Fnatic. I really like Ketchikimba, already holds several significant farming records in his young career, and I think this is a very, very strong farming support. And of course for Secret, I mean, we saw what Zai could do with Clockwork at the Summit 3. He had the finest Clockwork game that I've ever seen, through 12 hook shots. Hit all of them in a pivotal game against Fiji Gaming.
I do think, though, this is a more common opening here by Secret.
By Secret, yeah. This is very conventional.
It can still be a short lane quad where you have an off lane Clockwork, then potentially going into something like a Chen even.
They can also transition into Drought Visage.
Yeah, they're still very open, but I do agree with Jacob here, where you were mentioning the Bloodseeker. I think it's more of a throw-off than actually, when it comes down to it, where they need to win here, I don't think they would just, you know, like go with an uncommon Bloodseeker pick that they haven't really played that much before.
Maybe, and also, I mean, if you're in the same position as Team Secret, you're by far the favorites in this tournament. You guys know that you're probably the best in the world so far. I mean, you feel that maybe you can just go with something more conventional and make people a little bit more worried about having to compete with the same pool of heroes.
Well, this is why, you know, I don't have the stats to back this one up, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. This is why I think once they got that first monkey off their back at Red Bull Battlegrounds, I feel like Team Secret have just been a different team. They've played like they're playing with house money.
But how many monkeys do they have total on their back? Do they still have another monkey on their back? Because that could be a problem, Alan.
I didn't bring my monkey stats either. Sorry.
Got you there. Again, only about Dota. No, just kidding, man. I think you've been saying that, and I think you've been nailing it on the head, though. Secret really have transformed and proven that. Before that, I was like, we really like this team. They're really fun to watch. They're really good. And now it's like they're definitely the favorites. They're definitely the strongest team so far.
Now we actually see the Bloodseeker ban coming out from Fnatic, so there's definitely some respect.
I really actually was surprised to hear you say that in particular, Jacob, that you're a Bloodseeker guy.
No, I am. Like, I think Bloodseeker is incredibly good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that the hero doesn't deserve being picked. I just don't think it's a necessity for Secret.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
All right.
What do you think about the Leshrac Shadow Demon combo? This is something that goes way back, but has added really an extra dimension now that the Leshrac is so frequently run as a core. And I'll ask you guys the same question as I did the last time that we saw Visage third pick. Are we going to see a Drow at 4 from Team Secret?
This is a very common opener for them with the Clockwork offlane. Most people like ranged offlaners, but Secret, they've experimented with Darkseer in the offlane. Didn't work for them. Now they always go for Clockwork as their 3. But yeah, Visage, Drought. I mean, they run Drought a lot, even without Visage.
Yeah, and it looks like that will be the natural progression here. So on the side of Fnatic, you probably have to expect that. I mean, do you bother to react to it, or at this point you've already just let it go through?
This is a combo that Fnatic know quite well. Fnatic have run quite a bit of Drow Visage themselves, and notwithstanding a very, very odd 4-position Drow Ranger pick at MLG that did not work out for them, they play that combo very well themselves, and I think Bristleback is not a bad hero to pick when you think you're going to be going into that combo.
All right, well, they're going with that, Bristle. Now, are we going to see that Drow here for Secret? Kai, what do you think?
It's still very, very open to say to me, just because Visage Drow is not as strong anymore as it was before. But it does fit, for sure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm just saying that it's not the 100% common follow-up pick onto a Visage.
It's not as high of a priority, but again, if you're in the position of Team Secret, even if it's not as strong, we've been talking, I mean, they feel comfortable with pretty much anything that they've been drafting. So anything common is definitely going to feel right in the palms of their hands.
Well, and I also think that this lineup lets Secret just keep the pressure on, because Fnatic is a team, their big weak point has been they've been susceptible to some very weak laning phases, and they like to be very aggressive in the mid game. So when they get off to these really rough starts, they're not able to hit that mid game window that they play really well in. And I think this is a lineup, these first 4 from Team Secret, they're going to be able to just apply pressure constantly from 0 to 30 minutes.
All right, and the puck coming out, and now we're in the last phase, 1 ban left for each team.
If we're looking towards the laning here, I would assume it's going to be a draw mid, where you have a Queen of Pain on the short lane with the Visage. But they obviously can still switch around. I do like a draw better in a mid position, just because you get a faster 6, and then you're kind of just that aura hero for everyone else.
And you're expecting the aggressive tri-lane to come out of Fnatic since they picked the Shadow Demon Leshrac combo?
It's still tough to tell, because they could go aggressive where you don't exactly know where the puck goes. Puck could still go short lane, puck could still go mid lane.
I think
it's not
it's too
entirely
all in.
set.
I think aggro tri-lane is a little bit too all in from Fnatic, and I don't necessarily mind that, because you do know that you're the underdog in this series. But my question for this lineup, if your aggro tri-lane really struggles, where do you go from there as Fnatic? I think you can get enough done with a core Leshrac with a Shadow Demon straight up support. I don't necessarily think you have to aggro tri.
I think if they aggro try, they can just stack the clock, and then it'll be completely okay.
Right.
It is a little bit too all in, especially if they're Dire. If they're Radiant, they can utilize that pull, but Dire, if you don't get any kills in lane, you're just so far behind.
But in the past, we've seen Fnatic is one of the teams that are more prone to actually just go for that all in. They seem to be a bit more ballsy than other teams in terms of risking it.
Yeah, and again, I mean, maybe that's the background they're coming from, right? They're kind of always seen as this underdog, and they're like, well, we have to prove ourselves, and we might as well throw it down. Now, something I've learned, I mean, throughout all of esports is really, if you're facing against probably what might be the strongest or second strongest team in a tournament, you can't play on their terms. You can't say, we'll play the same game of consistency and go try to match you on all levels of the game. Maybe that is what they need to do. Just go all in and throw all bets on the table. And the Broodmother coming out as a ban from Team Secret.
I would generally say, though, that especially the C scene is very different in terms of picks than any other region.
Yeah.
Yes, also China has their own kind of playstyle, but I feel like in the recent past, China as well as the European/US scene is closer and closer in terms of meta. But C always runs their own kind of style.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you look at the stats, at game-to-game volatility of power rankings in SEA, it's all over the map. It's the most volatile region by far, and part of that is that the metagame is just so unstable. It shifts from week to week.
Oh, well, maybe that's what can make this game so exciting. Of course, I mean, we've been talking so much about Secret being willing to do crazy things, but as you guys are starting to bring up during the picks here, Fnatic not a stranger to that world.
What are our lanes, guys? I still feel like we got a Mushi puck here and a KYXY Bristle.
I could imagine a Windrunner pick coming out from Fnatic. It's a hero they have success with and are very fond of. And as you were saying, C and Fnatic in particular seem to have their own priority picks, almost dating back to 6.48B days in Dota 1. Because they love to pick the Sand King and Lina, even if they're not in meta, and just stack up these heroes.
All right, well, the lineup is finished for Secret. What are we looking at? I mean, keep the light to round it out.
They usually like a hero that doubles as sustain as well as defensive capabilities. It's usually Dazzle, sometimes it's Vengeful Spirit, but keep it light with Ags, or even Blinding Light can serve a very similar role.
It could be that they picked that Coddle as last, just if they're concerned with an aggressive tri-lane, Coddle in that sense is very strong to defend.
Definitely.
All right, my two, I mean, you guys just absolutely nailed it on the head. The number one thing is, when you have a Draw Visage lineup, I like at least one hero that can help sustain the push. And number two, I like the fact that you get a hero that can lock down in case you have to face that aggressive tri-lane. They get a couple early kills. You have a hero that can at least zone that tri-lane out and make them think twice about diving you constantly.
Yeah, again, just showing the flexibility really here from Secret, and also just their knowledge of the drafts and what they're up against. Just making sure, hey, we can cover both sides now in terms of strategy, and we're not too worried. So Fnatic, with 1 minute left, what is their pick going to be? Can they pick something that can really turn things around, or now do they just kind of have to accept it and go with what they're most comfortable with?
I think something that's very, very early game. Undying, I think, would come to mind as long as they can protect the Tombstone. I've seen a lot of Drow lineups just kill the Tombstone in 3 or 4 hits, which is really bad, but I definitely don't think they need more late game.
You're gonna do if you do that, you're gonna do Undying in the trial?
You think they can get away with this, what they have right now?
I don't know. I mean, I think they have to go for all in on the early.
I wouldn't even locked on here the option of just having Lesh SC roaming together, and then you have a puck mid.
Oh wow!
But it seems like is that a
I think you could
puck off lane, Bristle
no,
off lane.
No, puck is mid, I think.
I think you could go. I think you could go the 3 solo laners and just have the Leshrac and SD roam.
All right. Well, we'll find out. Again, I mean, both teams showing a lot of flexibility. We'll see if that really shows up in game number 1 as we open things up. The game is ready, picks and bans are done, so let's throw it over to the casters for the last match of the evening.
Thank you very much. Yes, myself and Cinderin are together finally for our last game of the day. And what a hell of a series to actually have here, Cind. Secret, the team which everyone was flagging, is #1, and Fnatic, the team which you never know what you're going to expect from them.
Yeah, this is a crazy draft from Fnatic. It's a lot more stable from Secret. I've seen them play a very similar strategy before. It's been tested. It's been working for them. They get a lot of their trademark heroes, so I think they go in with a lot of confidence. And the question is if Fnatic are going to catch them by surprise with their laning, with their early movements, especially when you invest into something like an Enigma, which looks like it is going to be in the jungle played by Johnny.
Yep.
This is a greedy pick, which might just work because Secret have shown their hand entirely with their support duo. With the Visage and Coddle, they have very limited invasion potential on level 1, and Johnny should be able to start off well in the jungle now. The question is, how are the other lanes going to go? I just called the jungle a lane. It's the 4th lane of Dota.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really curious to see what Fnatic are doing. This is a very special draft from them.
Yeah, it kind of is, and I know it actually goes against something which we were talking about previously before we started this game up, which was how much does Secret value the jungle? How much money is there really to pull out from this, and what effect do you see from the Enigma? But if Enigma can get this early mech, free up the Bristleback to buy something else, like maybe even a Halberd, if he can close the distance on that Drow Ranger or Disarm, choices are available there. And you've got more choices when you get the Blink Dagger up and running, because the team fight of Fnatic is really, really scary. Between Dream Coil, Black Hole, the setup which can come from just a simple disruption, and the control from Purge, then you've got the Shrek stun, the mass amount of damage that he does. It's a lot to work with for both teams, really.
Speaking of the Enigma, I think it's really confident from Fnatic to go for that here. Actually, let's wait a second.
Yeah.
This level 1 unfolds. Zai with some good cogs.
Yeah, but unfortunately, actually, the cogs lock him out. But KOXY is battling up against Puppey, but it's Johnny and Mushy who are the 2 slow on. But Zai, he'll pick up the rune. KOXY is bailing out of here. The Illuminate won't hit anything because Fnatic will just disengage. So
Secret
the first rune went...
runes.
They will. And we will go to S4 on the bottom, and it will go to Zai, who gets to play the offlane.
So what I was going to say is this Enigma pick is very confident from Fnatic because I actually don't really know how good of a fighting Enigma game it is. When it comes to pushing lanes, it's difficult to push into Illuminate and Rocket Flare with just the Eidolons. And if you're looking for black holes, you're playing into Gust, you're playing into Hookshot, you're playing into Familiars, which are actually really good against it. And Johnny is going to have a very difficult game because of this. He's even going to start in the mid lane here trying to help out Muji against Arteezy, who has a little bit of a head start here when it comes to damage dealt, as I think Mushi took quite a bit of damage in that level 1 fight.
Yeah, that's just the reason why he's there.
And classic dual offlane from Secret. They love playing this clock Coddle lane. I think, in my opinion, their absolute best dual offlane. They play this lane very, very well.
How effective is it going to be, though, when you have a Shadow Demon that can set up with Disruption, and KOXY, who, like, we're watching Keecha give him as much space as he can on the top lane, because then he's going to have level 2, you'll have Lightning available, and you'll also have that Disruption up and running. So you've got the setup, you've got the stuns, you've got the control. How much can they survive if it's Puppey who's the one that gets caught out of position? Because I don't think they can kill the Clockwork.
I think if they initiate on Puppey, he is not going to die, because then we'll see it right now.
Speaking of dying,
I can always just go for a play like this. I think that was really aggressive coming in from Pichi. He is going to be on the receiving end of this one. Zai getting the first blood.
Huge first blood, massive first blood. At the same time, the Bristleback actually denied himself off because Kuro was harassing him so heavily, he just basically run himself into the Dire Ancients and killed himself off. So it actually shows us 2-0 on the board in favor of Team Secret. And Fnatic have just been completely forced out of, I'm going to say, the bottom lane at least. The Bristleback's a long way back. S4's got so much farm now that coming back to that lane, I'm not going to say a suicide, but it's going to be difficult. And the top lane, you've given momentum to a Clockwork. That's probably more dangerous than anything. But they're going to have a crack top lane. Disruption. Lightning started up. The second stun, and now Lightning follow-up. Zai will be dropping his stick charge in the cogs. Not going to do enough. Fnatic gets some revenge on Secret.
This kill is so incredibly important because if you look at how this lane was starting to play out, I think Secret getting the first blood there was just flat out a mistake from Kachik. Even if he catches Puppey there and does a bit of damage, KOXY was never in a position to reach the Split Earth. And they can't really initiate on the Coddle, because the moment they do it, Zai will just run into the Lash. He will either cog him and knock him back, or he will use Battery Assault. And if he interrupts any sort of spell cast from that Lash in the lane, they're trading mana, which is already a loss, right? Because Secret can just keep chakraing up there. So they need to be a little more careful, or in incorporate the Enigma in the lane play. Try to rotate in Johnny early. There's no warding for Secret up here to help them out, and the Enigma has to be involved, I think.
But he can't really do much until those boots are up and running. Like, he's got the Soul Ring now, so that's going to be great. But he won't have enough movement speed to actually get into the lane to really be effective. Unless you're going to sit him on the sidelines, but then you run the risk of feeding off conversions as well.
Well, as long as they set up with a disruption into a stun from Lesh, they should have time for Johnny's Eidolons to actually move in. Even though they only have 250 move speed, it's probably enough. Between disruption and the Lesh stun is 4.5 seconds. So I do think they could do that, but yeah, we'll see. At the same time, you don't want to involve Johnny more in the kills than he has to, because he really is under a lot of pressure in this game to get some farm.
Yeah. If you can give him all the space in the world to just farm up inside the jungle, and you still get what you're searching for around the lanes, which is not really that many deaths, but you're still finding like even CS, then you're going to be fine. But Puppy's already trying to put an end to this. He puts down the observe wards, came on a bit of a smoke mission, and actually blocks up 2 of the camps from Johnny. So Johnny will be forced out of the jungle anyway. He does have 1 sentry ward left on himself, but where he puts it, that's a big question.
He's gonna hear a Grave Chill here from Kuro, snatching the bounty rune from Ohio in the bottom lane. And I want to talk a little bit about this lane, by the way. I think Bristleback off lane is a thing of the past. I think it's too weak right now. The hero doesn't really scale. He doesn't fight very well from behind, and you really set him up for a bad lane. If you put him against a dual lane with Drow Aura from the beginning, I'm worried for Fnatic that Ohio is going to do almost nothing this game.
It's okay.
1 CS.
1 CS is fine, but he's got a Mango. What more do you need, dude?
Experience?
That'll be a good thing to have.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not going to go against that one.
He's level 2, he's level 6. Quite good luck, buddy.
Well,
this lane is impossible, actually. And the trade-off they're getting is not good enough. They can't even make up for it. They're behind on experience and gold with an Enigma in the early game.
The Enigma's first real movement into the lane is going to tell us probably more than anything else. And he's actually bought smoke as well. So it looks like Johnny is going to make this first movement. He is a 1-3-1 build. There is no black hole available. Top lane, they're going to have a crack disruption into the stun. There is lightning to follow up at level 3. There's a lot of damage to decide with the catcher and the poison. I don't know if that's enough. 100 points of life. And now the Sonic Wave, they try and turn around. And Kitchik will go down. And surprisingly, Zai, he'll be able to survive.
I'm surprised KOXY didn't try to follow that one through on the clockwork. I thought they could have brought Zai down. It seemed like he just stopped chasing. One more attack would have triggered the Shadow Poison, or he could have triggered it and then got the kill. But instead, Zai gets to live. Good rotation from his 4, though, regardless of whether they would have killed Zai or not. He would have definitely got that return kill. Secret looking good in this early game. They're building up a pretty significant lead already, and Kuro even gets to safe lane a bit now with the rotation of S4.
It does come to a sacrifice, though, because now Ohio is finding levels on the Bristleback, and Fnatic has spotted this out. So they try and punish the fact that Kuro is doing this, initiates on Ohio, but Mushy, he's rotated himself down. Jump in with the Dream Core, soul such damage, just not enough on Bristleback. A good pick-off here from Fnatic, and great rotation from Mushy.
Yeah, so S4 finds a kill top, Mushy finds a kill bottom. Doing the same thing, just 30 seconds apart. And out of these 2 kills, in my opinion, the bottom kill is more important. Like, I really think they need Ohio to get this kind of help to become relevant. So Mushi with the play there is going to try to help Ohio get in the game. But just to give you some perspective here, Zai's level 6 on clock in a moment. The Bristle who just got his lane ganked is level 3.5, and he has no ancient stacks. His recovery curve is really long, and he just does less than a clock with the same amount of farm as Zai.
He's going to be really careful.
Actually hit the creep.
He's actually got now 3 stacks of poison on him, and there's going to be a 4th one. No, it's off target. He'll be in the tree line and TP out, so the damage isn't enough to get the kill. He'll drop down, but not by enough to find it.
If Kitchik finds the 4th poison there, I think that is a kill. It's level 3 poison, actually. Yeah, that would have definitely been enough. Zai playing with fire.
Johnny, smoke just broke for the mouth for stun. Could have been the black hole right on top of Arteezy. Mushy needs a little bit more. That's why he jumps in for the orb. But actually got S4 in the TP. But Mushy's so low. The scream will kill him. Arteezy will still drop. This will be a double kill for S4 as he'll blink up to avoid Johnny. Actually commits suicide with his own conversions. Denied right in front of the Tier 1 tower.
Very, very nice deny from Johnny. I think the black hole, however, is a little bit too early, because the problem there is he wants to have the black hole a little bit later when the TP support comes in from S4, so they get to catch him in it as well. They also didn't manage to layer the silence in the black hole perfectly, so they take a lot of damage before the silence comes out. I mean, granted, it's 3/4 of a second of silence, but still, that kind of play might allow Mushi to phase shift one of S4's spells and could have perhaps turned into a 1-for-0 instead of.
They're going bottom lane again. Kuro, Mushi TP's in with no lane ward. He has no warning about this coming in. Mushi will bring him down with an old clockwork hook shot in, but the dire creep wave was there. So Zai unable to connect.
Fnatic are finding some picks here to level up the game a little bit. And
every time they do, too.
They might find another one.
Wow, this is going to get way too easy after a while. Zai just getting bursted down with both the Orb and the Rift, but with the defensive cogs up, he gets back, and S4's joined the fight. Sonic Wave is available. Mushi's already used Phase Shift, which means he is dead to the world. Maybe with a disruption available, but he doesn't actually throw it. He didn't have it. It was actually on cooldown. So S4 moves in quickly, finds the kill.
I think they were hoping there that he would be able to phase shift that attack to bait S4 into blinking for the kill. And then maybe they could have counterplayed him with Shadow Poison, Soul Catcher, and a couple of Quills. Or maybe they were waiting for one more tick to deny. I'm not sure Shadow Demon could have actually killed him there, so maybe there was no play at all.
Could be something, could be nothing. Basic summary. Joe Ranger, though, is looking like she's really, really good. Like, you've died once on Arteezy, which for his mid-solo, Joe Ranger is actually very, 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 very good. But having 3 Wraith Bands as well as these treads, he does what he always does with this Joe Ranger. He gives so much power to the rest of the map. This Queen of Pain's walking around with a bonus 39 physical damage. Not to mention Keeper of the Light can do exactly the same thing. He's actually in Ghost form at the moment, can potentially call in someone, and they found an opening. It's going to be on the Shadow Demon. Starts off with the Orb, pushes him back, and it will be able to connect. S4, nice jump in, defensive though on the disruption. Into Lightning, S4 no blink, 7 seconds on cooldown. Malphas going to make it hard to get away. Analyst Strike Storm will connect, S4's going to drop. Big kill, it goes to KYXY, which makes it even bigger.
Kitschik had like 3 HP after that rocket. He still stays alive. Zai with, I believe that was a level 3 rocket, actually. He's trying another one. Kitschik's gonna dodge that. He's expecting it, takes the long path. He might have to dodge a 3rd one, actually. Zai has in 5.
He'll get back to base in time. He'll have enough heal.
It's possible he's gonna try for it. I'm actually not sure. If he shows it right now. All right, he's not trying. Oh, he is. Oh, he found someone else.
Yeah, the second rocket he fired off flew over Ohio while he's watching him do this, and a hook shot up! He's gonna double damage her, locks him inside the clogs. Ohio, try and break free, Stick Shadow can't help him, disruption, there it is, buy some time, Zyno Ball Battery Assault left Ohio, he's so low, the Dream Call will control the rocket from Clockwork, Zai finds the kill, the revenge is bittersweet. They're able to find it back, Mushi with yet another rotation kill. That makes it 2.
Kitschik is being super clutch in this game so far in his Shadow Demon. Apart from that one mistake he made in the early laning stage, playing a bit too aggressively, his disruptions have been pretty much perfect. And right there, they end up getting a trade because he just barely makes it, else Clock will easily get that kill and get out. Now Poppy
pulls him down! The Sonic Wave from S4 will finish him off quick enough. If that TP didn't come, Poppy was dead to rights.
He wanted that to happen, though. I think he recalled before he ran into the Lesh, so just wanted to get S4 in as good a position as possible for that, and does manage to bait out a kill, as well as secure their top tier 1 for now. They could deny it if they want. It's got 80 health remaining, but might just want to hold on to it for strategic purposes, just being able to TP to that tower, maybe have a little bit of a more unclaimed gold for Fnatic right now, delaying the, I was about to say delaying the Mech of Enigma. He is 18 gold away. He's probably going to get it soon anyway.
Yeah,
but
it'll delay the blink tagger or puck.
Yes.
Because he's a little bit further away. It's 1,600 gold on this puck. But okay, let's look at KOAXY. The track has been banned out in the first 2 most of the time for a very, very, very good reason. How's he looking at the moment? With Wand, Point Booster, Arcane Boost, and almost 1,000 gold. Is this the position you want to be in as a Latrak?
I think it's good enough. He is, I think he's pretty much on par with what you expect at this point with 1 death, and playing in a 2-on-2 lane, it's a little bit tricky when it comes to farming, all in all. But I think he's looking good.
Disruption, Catcher on top lane. It's S4 who will blink himself away, but he's not that far off. But Zai, hook shots in. The guy's actually phase shifted down by Mushi. He won't be affected. S4 still having to stand his ground, and they've got 1, potentially 2. Arteezy trying to run away, but Mushi up on the high ground. They want to keep playing it up, but it's Poppy in the middle of this fight. They can't do anything with that blinding light, but now back it up. Kuro, trouble with KOXY turning on the pulse node, but now Zai, a perfect blocking Cox. Ohio's got no way to get through, but he sees Arteezy, so chases after him. The Puppy again, pushing them back with that blinding light. There is a little bit of a chase. It's Zai after Mushy. The Dire Observer was down, and Zai's got no way to really chase this. He's got 16 one charges at least, and the familiar drop down. It actually caught out the SD. Mushy faces it out. The Cog pushback by KYXY. Maybe now he can catch out Zai. The Cogs are there. Turn on the Edict. The Pulse over with the stun. They have enough damage to kill off Zai. Supports on the way in with Poppy's Illumina. Johnny, he's pretty low. They've already got the kill. The Illumina, it won't reach him in time. They will back up before the range can go, and that is going to be 9-8 now. Keeping it close, keeping it tight.
That fight could have gone even worse for Secret. I think Johnny had the shortest black hole I've ever seen, or at least tied for top 3. He immediately when he cast it, he got hit by battery assault in the back. So Zai doing a really good job lashing onto him, and actually that ends up keeping Arteezy alive in that fight, as I think the black hole would have caught him in that at that point in time. So they still got a 3-0 with a completely whiffed black hole. They still won that fight convincingly, and it's all about the engage. Once again, Kachik, Imba, as well as Mushi with some big plays here.
I hate to pose the question right now, but does Secret have enough damage to kill off Fnatic? As I now see 2 Vit boosters flying back on the courier for Ohio as well as KYXY. This Leshrac as well as Bristleback are getting bigger with every minute that passes. Is the Drow Ranger, is he even your damage that you're focusing on? Like, you've now got the Yasha on Arteezy. He's pumping out a crap ton of damage, over 200 a pop. But is this enough?
Yes, they definitely have enough damage, but what they need to work around is the amount of control that Fnatic has. It's going to be very difficult for them to deal their damage when Enigma walks in with the mech ready, because they have to try to find, either they have to do exactly what Zai did there with just getting him onto the Enigma and trying to run him down, but if they cluster a little bit too much, even if they don't get Black Hole, just the overall AoE damage that Fnatic's lineup can output with just catching 2 or 3 heroes in Dream Coil, you're in a lot of trouble if you're Secret and that happens. Lightning Storm will be able to be cast twice, Bristleback will be in a decent position, and even though, as I pointed out in the start, Ohio got completely shut down, they actually managed to give him a bit of a comeback so he can do stuff.
Going after Poppy, he has the double damage room, but can he actually hit in there? Missing the silence, and he'll actually die from the Dream Coil break. The rest of Fnatic is grouping up to try and force out the bottom lane. So the top tower will be denied. That's 1 deny for 1 deny. And the TP support coming in from Mushi to hold on to this mid tower, at least slow it down, while KOAXY with the Edict forcing through the tier 1. He can't actually do it. The Familiars are phasing him out. So Queen of Pain will get the last hit, and Fnatic will get another trade-off. So it's the tier 1 in mid for the tier 1 on bottom.
I think Fnatic are okay with this. If you look over the strategies and what they're supposed to do, this is the phase where Fnatic need to get through it without too big of a deficit. And right now it's a dead even game. I think if you say this, we hold this position with a dead even game 10 minutes down the line, Secret has like this really solid minute 20 to 25 where if Fnatic overcome that one as well, I think they're going to start scaling very well, where the main thing is just get someone in on Arteezy every fight. Because if the Drow War is not in effect, I think Secret's damage at that point will not be enough. You asked a few minutes ago, and I think for now, it's good enough. But come that point when especially Leshrac starts getting tanky and Bristle too, they might actually not be able to do it anymore.
Well, the only way you could potentially do it, because there's no jump in initiation apart from the puck. So Puck would have to jump right on top of the Drow Ranger to make it happen, and normally doesn't stick around. So does that then mean you almost have to rush a Blink Dagger over on the Enigma? Speaking of Arteezy, this is one way to close it.
Position right now. I'm not sure what he was expecting here.
Well, there is a Dream Call trying to battle up against him. The Cats are able to connect. Defensive disruption.
Wow.
And Arteezy, it's still taking a while to bring him down, and he actually gets the kill inside of death. They're going to go on bottom lane too. S4, nice hook shot in. They found Johnny looking for the stun. Black Hole, he does not want to trigger it here. That battery is all still doing work in the Blade Mail. Couldn't attack into Zai. KOXY blinding, let it force back out. Even I think it was Mana Leak, which actually triggered a secondary stun.
It was. Puppy had enough knockback range on that blinding light to get him out of mana for the stun, else that kill does not happen. Very, very nice play here from Secret. And, well, technically, they shouldn't have had that kill on Drow, but apart from that, that was definitely a
Puppy
nice
said, Mushy, doing it nice. With the silence, there was no blinding light to stop him. He has to try and get himself out of this mess, though. And it looks like actually having that secondary TP cancelled, he will just walk away. Yeah, Arteezy was up so far.
I'm really surprised he was up there pushing. It looked like Secret wanted to draw attention to that lane so that they could gank bottom at the same time, and they were successful. But ultimately, if that orb from Mushi hits, then Arteezy doesn't get a kill, and it basically turns into a trade that's not really that favorable for them. So
The sad thing is, too, it actually came down to the last hitting, too. It was one attack for one attack. And Mushi, when he first orbed in, he actually attacked the creep wave. He didn't actually attack directly into Arteezy. So the damage wasn't there as well.
I was about to say Mushi is probably going to go for a Dagon, but he takes the Yule's route. I think wanting to deal with mainly the Gust, having a counterplay to that silence is going to be very useful. And of course, a secondary way of stopping TPs.
Not a bad setup in some ways too, because he can he can set up for KYXY.
I'm wondering if there's not really any Blink Dagger carrier in Secret, apart from, I guess, Arteezy at some point might want to go for it in the Drow. So the fall damage from the Yules isn't going to be good for preventing that on anyone, but it's still just a solid choice on Puck overall. It's one of those items that you almost never regret getting, unless you really lack damage. I do not think that's going to be a problem for Fnatic, though.
He should be fine. KYXY has finished up the Bloodstone. He's going to fly out in the Courier, but he's very, very close to Poppy. His Illumina's going to help force out that top lane, not to mention the Familiars, which are still here. Now, Bushy's done a pretty damn good job on the bottom lane, too, so he'll TP back, and that is the full Yule Scepter now done 18 minutes and a half into this game. And Fnatic are ready to fight. Johnny has his black hole up and running.
Did you notice Puppy's item build, by the way? Did you talk about that?
What did he end up going for? I saw Tranquils, and now he's got Arcanes as well. Okay.
One for each foot.
He's got 4 to fill, man. That's a horse.
He forgot he bought the first pair. Transition.
There is no transition from
Awkward
that.
silence. Thanks, Toby. That's really nice of you. All right.
I'm here for you, man.
It wasn't the best joke, I know.
Oh, don't worry. That's why you're sitting next to me. I'll make your jokes look fantastic. Crimson Guard's now up for the Bristleback. This Fnatic team fight is looking stronger and stronger again. So you got the Bloodstone up for KYXY. You've got your Black Hole with Mech. You've got your Blink Yule Scepter up and running. You've still got Purge up, and Ohio's now going to put a Crimson Guard on top of all of Fnatic. They can just start to force down buildings and Secret either look for a trade-off, which it looks like they're doing at the moment. S4 with a DD rune can probably do heavy damage to that T1 tower on bottom. And Puppy's keeping the pressure forced on top. Actually, Fnatic, they're searching for kills. They're not pushing down the towers. They're going to come off the worst for this trade, especially now the KYXY leaves. Goes down to defend the bottom lane.
Well, they did get the mid tower at least for the Bristle, who's...
took the tier 1.
I might have to eat my words because Ohio has actually had a really big impact and he is getting farmed. Like, they've managed to recover him very nicely. The reason I'm so against offlane Bristle is that I feel like this never happens. But Fnatic have actually managed to accomplish it this game, which is very good to see, because if this Bristle would have been destroyed a little bit more in that lane, I think we could have been looking at a very one-sided game. But he is looking really strong, actually. He's second on net worth with that offlane Bristleback. Ohio he's been incredible this game so far.
They bought him so much space with Mushi's rotations, because remember, Mushi did come down twice to that bottom lane to ensure that you could find the space of the Bristleback. The second the Secret tried to buy space for their Visage, for Kuro, to get a very quick level 6. He's level 10 now. I'm very, very happy with life. But when they did that, it meant Bristleback could move forward. Puck made sure they were able to be part of multiple kills. And then you're rotating around with the rest of your team, finding even more kills, and then that's more space for Ohio. You don't have to bring him in until the fight really starts. But they're already going to do it. He's actually the right place at the right time. It's where the farm is. But Puppy's right behind him, starts the Mana Leak, and Ohio should just sit exactly where he is. Then again, Mushi probably shouldn't. He's right on top of a Radiant Observer Ward, and they're converging on his position. And that's with an Orchid from S4, that then, Yule Scepter up, he can phase shift and wait for the Blink Dagger, or in fact just blink himself down. And the hook shot, he bumped into the back of S4. So Zion able to connect on the retreating Puck. Now that means KYXY has got a ticket to basically push. This bottom tower's down to half of his life with conversions and catapults, and forces mass amounts of TPs down the bottom lane to defend it.
And Mushi immediately putting the Yules to use against the Orchid of S4. Of course, they were really important to avoid kills like this, where Secret are actually, it's not just that they don't kill the Puck, it's how much information Mushi is able to gather from that gank failing. It opens up the map. Ohio feels confident farming up top. They have really good vision right now inside the Radiant jungle as well. So I'm looking for Fnatic to make the next play. Now with Hookshot on cooldown as well, they might actually just be able to if they can perhaps smoke into the Radiant jungle or something like that.
Well, do they actually have to? Like right now, you're looking at more ancient stacks coming up. Johnny's going back to his farm to try and get towards, I'm assuming, a Blink Dagger. And you got Leshrac finding more farm. Mushi's doing the same kind of thing. Is Fnatic even under pressure to come out and engage against Secret?
Arteezy's getting big. That's a concern. As you talked about, it scales the entire team up. He's now got a BKB. He will definitely be looking for another agility item now, either completing his Manta or maybe looking at either a Scotty. He could look at a Butterfly, which would be not that great this game, but still just for the agility, of obviously really nice for his team. So I think they should be looking for fights. If they're confident that they can keep controlling the Drow afterwards, I did say, like, come minute 25, I'm not sure they have the damage. That is given that they get in on Arteezy. So they have to itemize and they have to play the team fights around catching him out. Else I don't think they can play the game this one.
Well, they're going to have a little bit more maneuverability with KYXY's next item not actually being utility 4-staff build.
It's good against Clock, obviously.
And Ohio, we actually have a new plate mail being on him. Puppey, dead. Find the kill. There's commitment to ensure death. But at the same time, Secret, now knowing the Dream Core is on cooldown, and they are looking towards that mid tower. How far they get, though? Not that far. They actually blink back out. Ohio's on the run out here, so S4 will find him. And does he even want to have a crack at this? RT's going to gust him back. At the same time, Zai, a defensive cogs, but they're going to mount for stun off. Zai wants to hookshot himself away, but keeps getting stunned. The Yule set up at the wrong time from Mushy, but they have the silence, and they will get the kill.
Zai with a little bit of a martyr play there. I don't even know if he needed to do that, to be honest. I think his teammates might have got away. Perhaps Arteezy... Oh, wait, actually Arteezy had cooldown on TP, so I guess he couldn't BKB TP. So that in mind, that might have been worth it, but of course, the ultimate prize here, Fnatic, they will be getting Roshan. There is no way Secret are able to contest this right now.
Not at all.
And I want to say, in this game, they've been focusing a lot on farming Kuroki, which I think is a great way of playing Visage in general. It's just, I'm so used to seeing Kuroki being involved more in kills that it's a different kind of style that might completely catch Fnatic off guard how fast he's actually getting the Zags. But yeah, until now, he's only been in 1 kill on Visage minute 24. That is very unusual.
This is the item we're talking about. Close the distance on Arteezy. Johnny's now got his Blink Dagger up and running. So we have Blink Black Holes, we have Blink Dream Calls. So much control. And Mushy, speaking of that, you're set for up. S4's right on top of him. Where's his Blink Dagger? Can't get it off. Phase shift. Mushy doesn't have time. The cold position from Zai was perfect. It pushed him back. And now it's S4 that gets a large amount of money for that. Overall, it was 478 for that kill.
Yeah, that was perfectly executed. It's the only way they force him to Yule in the first place is that Orchid, and then he thinks he can phase Blink, but he was stun locked from full to 0. KYXY is pushing out top, and let's keep in mind that every time Fnatic take a good fight, KYXY is getting these Bloodstone charges. He's up to 10 right now. He's found 2 assists, I believe, with it. Maybe one of them was actually a kill. Yeah, he got the Clockwork kill. So he is starting to get items. Ohio, or charges rather. Ohio is also making some serious progress on his Bristle. I'm curious to see if he goes for the Shivas or for the Kiras in this game. I think it might be a Shivas game just because they really don't have that much physical damage that his teammates benefit from, whereas when it comes to team fighting, he just needs that slow aura against all the physical damage of Secret, and as another way of catching up to Drow.
Yeah, because once that Shiva's guard's hit, then Drow Ranger just slows down so much, and you're right, it's movement speed versus not movement speed if we want to be really that raw.
Oh, geez, he got an SNY though. He's pretty fast too, 406. But Bristle is going to be way faster with a couple of Warpath stacks and just popping the Shivas.
And then he's also got the help from Lightning from KOXY, and that's going to bounce through him. So getting close on the Drow Ranger and staying there is pretty easy. And now S4, Mushy, well, they actually take the stun straight away. Can Mushy reach him in time to actually Yule Scepter him up? This might allow him to actually recall back out by Puppey. Able to save S4.
So close. The moment he lands, he will take 50 damage, and that recall will be cancelled. But mid-air, you can recall him to the location of Puppey there. That was really clutch. And the question is if Mushy made a mistake there, going for the Yules. Could he have reached any spell? I actually don't think so.
KOXY, big play,
right,
just four-stuffed in. And able to get the perfect stun onto S4, so he dies anyway. And then Mushy wants to go for more. He's found Kuro in the mid with the poison, but decides not to stick around.
Yeah, there's no coil available. They're not interested in taking this fight right now. Rather, playing a bit of map control. Dire are farming the Radiant jungle. KYXY with the solo kill top gets a lot of space as well. That kind of kills really define or make a huge difference in the game. Even though it's just 1 kill on S4, they get pushed on the top lane. It's a really big surprise kill. KYXY gets Bloodstone charge, and it also results in this bottom tier 2, because S4 doesn't have buyback. He will not be available for this fight.
Yep.
Very, very big heads-up play from KY.
At the same time, we did actually get the item out from Ohio. It wasn't the Shiva's guard like we thought. It's a full assault Cuirass, and has completed at 27 minutes in for Ohio.
So he did, yep. He did go for the Cuirass.
Yep. So negative armor plus armor. Not that bad when you're trying to beat through the buildings, especially if you're just by yourself or only got one person.
There were
to
two ways to look at this, right? One of them is we do not have enough physical damage to benefit from the Cuirass. The other one is we really need physical damage because we can't rely on magical damage only, right? So it's one of those situations where you're like, you weigh the pros and cons and you think, okay, KYXY actually just got a lot of gold. He can get a Shivas fast. Then it's probably a no-brainer because he wants that as part of his build. And I would say it's definitely better for them to get one of each rather than the 2 Shivas. So this top rune is going to go to Mushi. Gets a bounty.
He's going to be okay.
The bot rune sucks, so nobody wants that one.
It's the best rune of the game, Send.
Yeah, 1 out of 100 times. But then it's great.
That is fantastic, and it makes for the wonderful jukes. But Mushi will pick up both, so hey, why not? It looks like Fnatic is a big group up on top. They do still have KYXY forcing in the mid with Mushi. Just orb and lightning damage doing the work. And S4, well, there's a bunch of conversions on bottom lane that's going to be slowing down this push, at least from him. And that'll allow time for Fnatic to hit the tier 2 tower before the creep wave of Secret will hit the tier 1. Kuro should also be really careful where he is. That's a dire observer ward on top of the hill. He doesn't see this, but of course Fnatic see him. TPing out, they jump in, look for the stun. Mistiming, the disruption will still, however, cancel the TP out from Kuro, so they will find this kill, and maybe even a couple of his familiars. And in fact, they're actually splitting up the fight. KYXY TP's the bottom lane to go for the defense while Mushi wraps around the back of the tier 2 tower on top. Now, Coddle, the recall's already starting in. Arteezy's come to the top lane. They're gusting onto illusions of the puck. The illusion rune is useful. And tier 2 tower will remain alive for now.
Well, so Fnatic actually make a really good play pulling, just getting away from this tower right away. They realize, okay, they've poured their Leshrac bottom. Secret might have the buyback here. They're aiming to defend the tower. They force out the glyph. They're like, okay, Secret want to actually fight for this. We're not even going to give them the chance to get a comeback in this game. We're just going to keep finding our pickoffs and playing our game.
They're coming top. They're looking for Arteezy or S4. And Johnny has his Blink Dagger. In fact, S4 jumps into him, goes for the Orchid. Can actually give Johnny some time for the disruption. A Beta Sonic Wave. S4 will blink down into the river. Johnny will follow him down here with Mushi. Commits the black hole. S4's control time is BKB. He'll drop. And there is no help to come in from the rest of Secret. Zio was considering a hook shot in, but wisely decided against him. That was the 10-second BKB kill.
Kitchik's timing in this game is just so good. That disruption, beautiful timing from him once again. Fnatic are really bringing their A game for this game 1.
Yeah, and they hold the control. They have gold as well as experience advantage now, roughly 1,500 for both. And they're getting themselves further and further ahead.
Arteezy, he is not winning this fight. All right.
He is when KYXY leaves.
I guess he was afraid of the backup coming in, but that just looks really funny in that situation. He's totally got him. He could just run him down, force out the BKB, and then go away. Just force away.
Safety first, Sidran. Safety first.
That's funny.
But yes, it was a pure one-on-one. But no team's got any kind of vision inside the Radiant jungle. It's only where the creep waves and the heroes are moving. The closest ward you have to the Radiant jungle is the Radiant one, which is sitting halfway up mid lane. Even the Dire Vision, they have... Is that only one Dire Observer ward in the map, which is watching the top rune? I can see sentries on the top, but that's it. This map is really dark for both sides. But at the same time, like, Fnatic don't really need to see where they're going in the dark. They just walk up. The second they appear, they go for them. Especially now that Mushi has an Aghanim Scepter Dream Coil on this puck.
That is a very big deal. Now they have another way of playing around Arteezy. They can just coil him in the back. And I actually think it's possible that the best play from Mushi, even if there's a team fight breaking out, is just blinking to the back, coiling Arteezy so in such a way so that if he wants to move into the fight, he has to break it. That's a 4.5 second stun that they have to single out other heroes. It's of course great against S4's Quap as well, so when he blinks, he will also get stunned, but it is definitely targeted at Arteezy's Drow in this game.
Oh, Arteezy's looking to try and target, well, Fnatic. But Fnatic move back. They will also smoke up, the same as Secret have, and try and find one opening. They'll take from that top rune. Now, there's no Radiant Vision there, so they won't have seen that happen. And in fact, they move up. There goes your smoke break. Over on Zai, Dream Call. Over on him, Silence. The Blade Mail protected for the moment. And in comes S4, right from behind. Silence galore as well as BKBs, but still no kills. Mushi's the one who's isolated on the side. The Sonic Wave. It's all of Fnatic, but where is your puck? He still phase shifts up, blinks in the tree line. Mushi, TP's on cooldown, so he has to all further down. The rest of the squad's coming. Another phase shift. Delay more time. Now in comes Ohio. The Gus back silencing up. They have lost Mushi. Where's your hook shot out? Kuro stun, KOXY battling up against S4. They're underneath the tower. KOXY is going to go down, and Ohio is isolated. The Colk to split up Fnatic. Ohio is dead on the top lane. 3 heroes gone, and Secret trade nothing of value for it. They may even get more. The Rocket will give vision for S4 so we can get the Shadow Strike. This will slow down Shadow Demon. The TP is there. The Scream damage isn't enough to actually pop him with the Orchid. The answer is no. He'll survive on 80 life points back in the base.
Very nice analysis of the fight there from Secret, just to see that they're ahead when they get this kind of jump. It's one of those really awkward situations where you run into each other with smoke and you need to make the immediate reaction play. I think Mushi coiling.
They're chasing Johnny.
Oh yeah, Johnny is.
He came down and picked up an invis rune, but the Puppey has a gem, so easily saw the Enigma. I think he was coming in to try and deter them from going in for Roshan, steal the rune, and make him worry about it. But now Puppey, all he's got to do is just recall in all of his friends, Zai being the last friend, and they will take out Roshan.
Dryland is just so disgusting when it comes to killing Roche. That's ridiculous. So yeah, what I was getting at in that top fight, I think Mushi solo dream calling Zai lost the fight. Like, he cannot commit such an important ability just on the clockwork, especially when they can't even bring him down. Like, maybe if they get that kill off the bat and they play off that, perhaps. But Mushi was far ahead of his team and they didn't really have the combination play.
Up top bottom lane, they're going to go into S4. Ohio almost looks like he was baiting it out in S4. BKB will trigger. He's going to die here. Good pick off. Mushi stayed in the trees and they aggressively TP'd Ohio into the lane, baiting S4 to try and have a crack at him. The Dream Call was the only thing that was going to stop S4 then. I think that's what he was searching for previously. The quick pick-off, move to the next target. That was it. Same with the Black Hole in the mid lane. It's just the mindset of Fnatic in this game up against Secret. Take one kill, move it along. Nothing to see here.
It's a little bit easier when you get a 2-on-1 instead of a 5-on-5.
Yes.
That's one of those kills that Fnatic, the moment he coils as forward, they know they've got him.
Yeah. That's what we call the backfire effect.
Now, how close is Johnny to his BKB? He only has the Ogre Club, right? So, no, this is one of the changes that Enigma has been pretty hit. Let me try that again. Enigma has been hit pretty hard by the changes to the jungle. When you look over the numbers, it doesn't look that significant, but you need to consider that it all adds up, right? You get less golden experience in the first camps, and because of that, you get the next camp slower as well. So his jungling impact is just not as high as it used to be, and you know, in a previous version, Johnny would have had his BKB by now, but he's actually 3K short almost, so it's a pretty big deal. It was bigger than I thought it was, but when you see it play out, there's just so much evidence that really shows that the jungle has been sacked hard.
Secret's really forcing in this top lane, and they're doing it so well by just TPing Arteezy down the bottom lane. He pushes out the creep wave, and then you've still got the Aghanim Scepter on Keeper of the Light, and he's a level 16 Keeper of the Light too, who, correct me if I'm wrong, actually hasn't leveled up his ulti to level 3 yet. I don't think it's a misclick. I just don't think he's gotten around. Yeah, there we go. Now he's gotten around to it. But this means you basically got recall all the time for Secret, bringing everybody back. Your split pushes, pretty much insane, because you never have to have a TP scroll. You can keep the two cores, like Queen of Pain as well as Drow Ranger, forcing in the other two lanes, and keep the Clockwork, the Visage, as well as Keeper of the Light altogether.
You need to be really careful, though. If they take damage during the recall, they're just stuck on the other side of the map. So if you have the information, you could definitely play that way, but it's a very risky way to play with a Drow, where if Arteezy gets caught out, that can, it can end up costing them the game, trying to play a little bit too greedy with the split push. Now, he's going to get the tier 1 for free. The tier 2, it looks like Fnatic will fight for, and of course, worth to keep in mind that we just hit nighttime, so Puppey does not have the 1800 unobstructed vision. I think Secret just wants to wait until day. Like, it's just a safer and smarter play where they don't really lose any potential in the next 3 minutes, I think, unless how long's left on that Aegis. All right, they actually lose the Aegis. That's a hard call.
It kind of feels like it feels like it's still worth it to go.
It could backfire so hard, though, if you go in without vision on this tower. Like,
it could. And
really
they're not going to get out far enough to actually see either. But you've got Familiar Burst to scout out. They can move up through the tree line, be it on the east flank or the west flank. They can go from either side. And with a continuous Illumina spam, you're going to push into the tower. The Aegis on Arteezy, leave them on the front lines. If they initiate in, you just blinding light. S4 BKBs jumps in. Zaya's got a hook shot as well. You can bring support to the front lines very, very quickly. But why take the risk? The TP will come back from Arteezy. He'll defend the top tower. In fact, he'll probably even deny the top tower and then just get recalled.
Yeah, Mushi making the right play here, just putting pressure elsewhere on the map. He knows he has a tier 2 tower to port in on, and since he will be the only TP, he will be there in time. So even though that tower gets denied, it's still worth it because it stops Secret's push. It probably makes them not able to use their Aegis, which I think is the biggest deal. And all in all, Fnatic, they're buying time again. Did Johnny really not? He is still really not progressing toward his BKB. You think back just one version of Dota. You would never see Enigma second to last. Absolutely never. But now he's overtaken by both of Secret's supports, and it's just
It feels like he's sacrificing himself, though. It's not just the fact that he's not farming. It's the fact that he's having to sit behind the rest of his Fnatic heroes each time, thinking maybe there's a team fight coming, because you've got 4 players from Secret in one lane, and they're fairly certain of the same thing. So, like, okay, let's have the Enigma there in case they get initiated on. Then we can counter-initiate with the Black Hole, and we can do some work.
He's still got 160 CS, though. Like, it's not like he's completely starved for farm on the Enigma. It's not high up the list, though.
It's
like,
actually the third on the list as far as...
which is pretty impressive, but...
Oh, that Drow Ranger is number 1. Leshrac right behind him.
And what does KYXY go for? Is this... He's getting an Axe? Or is that an Octarine? It's gotta be Octarine.
It should be Octarine.
I'm not sure if that's the best choice, actually, here. In some ways, you really need BKB against Mono League, even. That's like the biggest reason to get it. There's triple bird stuns, there's multiple silences, like the Orchid, the Gust, and just, I think the Mono League's actually going to be his biggest problem in this game. He will have to find a way to play around that. Leshrac, who's not mobile, really loses a lot of potential.
It might also just be a casual point booster for now, because he's still walking around with 2,000 gold.
That's just a weird build-up.
I don't know if he's going to go for like BTs as his next item. Maybe that's one way where they can try and counter the split push, which is coming out from Secret. Wow, Koro. Right. He actually bought a full Desolator.
He's pretty rich.
Yep. This Visage has some good cash.
And the gold graph keeps going up for Secret. They're not really that far ahead. Like, it's really close. I've just got this feeling that when you look at how the gold is distributed, it does favor Secret in the long run. They have the farm supports. The cores will still be able to match the farm of Fnatic down the line, but it's going to be very difficult for the Shadow Fiend to catch up to the 6,000 he's behind the Keeper of the Light right now. Now daytime will kick in. I think Secret's plan now is, if possible, get Roshan during daytime with Coddle's 1800 vision from the Ags. And if they're unlucky with the spawn, they at least want to try to control the area. Or maybe not. They might have another plan as it looks.
They're bringing in a break effect. Yeah, they're just going to go right now. Like, why wait? They have a Shadow Blade on the Drow Ranger, which is actually back in the stash, and not on him right now. The hookshot misses. The silence will be on SD, but if they only lose the SD here, Fnatic will be very happy with this. That's a 5-man smoke. They'll end up killing off the Shadow Demon. But the creep wave is kind of cut halfway through, so they're not ready to attack into the tier 2 tower just yet. So if Fnatic want to buy back, they can't. The SD doesn't have buyback money.
This is not just a Shadow Blade, by the way, for Arteezy.
It's the Silver Edge up against the Bristle.
Yeah, so he's going to disassemble his Sanjin Yasha and make a Silver Edge and a Yasha. This very, very powerful build-up for Drow nowadays. This kind of game, yeah, they're going to concede this tower. Just look at that.
Yep.
There is no way they hold that.
If they try, they die. But Ohio is still looking very, very good with his BKB. Like, you're going to focus in with the break, but you got the BKB, the Crimson Guard, the Assault Cuirass, and I'm not going to say soon the Abyssal because he did delay the Abyssal Blade to pick up that BKB.
Believe
but
me,
the survivability on the Bristle is good.
if he gets broken, you won't even think it's that hero he's playing. Like, the physical damage on the Radiant is so disgusting that even though he has 29 armor, when the break kicks in, you might get a chance to see it here.
Here they go. Where's that break? There's the break. BKB will trigger, tries to TP out. The damage, it is not enough.
That was without... Was that with or without the Silver Edge on? Because I can't remember the interaction. I think when you pop BKB after you get broken, it removes it, right? It's the same interaction as Overgrowth. So it's like, who casts it first? I do think
I'm
so.
not answering mechanical questions.
But it's a little confusing with Silver Edge because it might be one of the parts goes through, maybe the damage reduction or the break or both. I can't remember. But that, to me, that looked like he wasn't broken when he BKB'd.
His back was turned, he looked fine.
Regardless, Secret made a point there. They dealt 2,000 damage to a 29 armor Bristleback within 3 seconds.
Yeah. But they did commit pretty heavily. Like, that was a lot of heroes coming in. And they're all working around with this bonus 79 damage from the Drow Ranger on every hero apart from the Clockwork. So you start adding all of this up against his life. 2,400 doesn't really look like that great a number. But when you can focus one-on-one, that's fine. When you start adding in the control factors, that maybe that really is, again, like you said it probably 20 minutes ago, what do you do in this game? If you are Secret, you got to play around the control factors of Fnatic. Which means you've got to be careful of these Eul Scepters. You've got to be careful of these BKB Magic Immune penetrating disables like, well, Puck's Dream Coil, as well as Black Hole. And they actually get a Blink Dagger on the... He actually... Okay, cool. He buys a Blink Dagger on the Bristleback.
I think it's good.
What's the purpose of it then?
Go on Drow.
That's a good purpose.
That is... The mission is very clear here for Ohio. He just saw how much damage Secret dealt to him when Drow's marksmanship was on. He's not going to let it happen again. He has to jump the Drow to remove all of that agility. And of course, if he can actually shut her down, like I'm wondering if he even wins a one-on-one with Arteezy in melee range. I'm not sure because of the evasion on the Drow right now. With Butterfly, he probably won't reliably be able to get the bashes he needs. So it's probably pretty close, but that's still really good because it allows KYXY to do way more. There's a BKB. Good. That's a good choice. That's what I was hoping for from him. I think it's necessary. Absolutely.
So it was the casual point booster.
I think it just changed his mind. I don't think he got it as a casual point booster. I think he was going for an Octarine and he was like, all right, this is not good.
Yep.
But he obviously doesn't want to sell it since he can use it later.
Well, Fnatic with their newly found items, they're going to move out, see if they can find an engagement. As they do have that BKB we're talking about. Roshan, the big man, is up and running, but Puppey actually breaks the smoke over on the SD, and Ohio instantly blinks to the high ground. Doesn't find anybody here. It also doesn't reveal the fact that he has this Blink Dagger. Because Secret do have vision with the Radiant Ward, but they don't see where Fnatic is moving. KOXY is still under the cover of smoke. And they're drawing the line to go back down through the bot lane. They can see Roshan. The Dire Courier is watching it very closely. But they're going to find S4 in a moment if they keep moving into the trees. And they'll see the Illuminate also come out from the Dire jungle. So they're really guessing Fnatic which way they're meant to attack. But they're trying to wait for the creep wave to pass, so the Fog of War is still restricting vision on them. But they're walking past the Observer Ward. They're perfectly visible. The 3 familiars just sitting there waiting. As KOXY, well, he actually lost the vision, so we can't attack up the hill for him. They'll run away, can't even bring down one of them. But on bottom lane, S4's attacking into the tier 3 tower. They're forced to TP back one, and it's Mushy, orking it up. He still wants to have a crack, actually. Yulset bring over on the Queen of Pain, and then will move himself away. But Fnatic are basically in recovery mode.
Secret are outplaying them right now on their map movements. They're taking a lot of advantage of the Keeper of the Light. They feel confident going for these split push plays with S4. And
here's the
ultimately, they take the tier 2 top, they force TP's bottom, they lose nothing, and they are now in position for their next objective.
Can they take it, though? Fnatic are moving out. KOXY as well as
yes,
Kerchik, they're going to try and get rid of it. There's your Orchid down, and okay. Well, that Roshan was alive at one point of his life.
Solar Crest, Desolator, Drow, and Birds.
You do get your item you're searching for. The BKB is over on the Enigma now.
Yeah,
so they have only the hook shot that will actually cancel his Black Hole. That's the only thing that Secret has.
And the biggest play here is the surprise play. Where
They found one. They found Puppy with the silence. 4-staff down. S4's coming in. Orchid's over on Mushy. He doesn't want to use the Eel Scepter just yet, but Ohio turns on the BKB. Physical damage to the first hit bash. Puppy's down for the count. He'll move over to RTZ, and there's your black hole with the hook shot. Perfect from Zai. The dream caller causing serious problems for him. KOSY can't do enough damage. Mushy trying to kill off Kuro. Finally, there is over buyback. RTZ in the trees trying to get out of here, but he can't do it. The Aegis will trigger. The Zai, maybe he can make some space. Hook shots after Mushy. S4's going to go with him. They have the phase shift. Can Mushy get himself out of this one? There's your silence. Mushy, he's down for the count. It's a double kill for RTZ. Coming back to life again. And maybe with these two heroes down, there is buyback for the puck, but they can do some damage to the base.
That instant hook shot from Zai really saved that fight. If he is not on point with that, they get run over, but immediately counterplaying the Enigma. I was about to say the big play here is to get the hook shot onto someone else, and then you can find the black hole. But Johnny, I don't blame him for going for that. That looked like a really good opening, but Zai was just ready for him instantly.
And Ohio copping Illuminus, mana leaks. The Dro Aura was turned on. The range Rax is toast. And the melee Rax is toast as well. Johnny blinks forward, but the damage is done. Maybe they can catch up to him. Arteezy running out here. Ohio has no true vision, so he didn't see the movement away. In fact, he won't really see anything. Even the recall from Coddle is pulling everyone back. Arteezy up to safety. They just took a Rax for, what, 2 kills?
Yeah, they lost their Aegis, though. Oh, BKB.
Yeah, it's S4. He's going to go down to Ohio. Good damage from him, and a really good kill. That's a lot of money. That's actually a crap ton of money.
This Blink Dagger has been really good for Ohio, and the best thing for him is it's going to set up Blink Abyssal. It's going to be very powerful as they do catch Johnny, though, on the bottom lane.
But Arteezy's in a little bit of trouble, too. He walks into the tree line, again going to get recalled, but Zai, well, pull back out again. They couldn't get the damage onto Arteezy to stop the recall.
This is a very close game. Even though it's Secret are 10K ahead, it still doesn't feel like they're in the clear just yet, but they took a really big fight there. Now, they won't have Aegis for the next at least 5 minutes until Roshan respawns, and I think that's where Fnatic, if they find a fight like the one they just did, they would win that. They only lost that fight because of the Aegis. Even with a perfect hookshot from Zai, they would have still lost that.
See, I'm wondering if they can once Arteezy finishes his full Satanic, which he's only, what, 1,400 gold away from completing?
I still think Bristle beats him in a fist fight. I was surprised with how hard Ohio destroyed him in that fight. Even with Arteezy's evasion, he still got shut down pretty heavily. So I'm going to say when there's an Abyssal out on Ohio, even if, let's say Arteezy fights back, he's not going to win in the long run, so he's going to need help. And that means Ohio will not only shut out Arteezy, he will force the fight in a direction that's going to give a lot more time and space for the Leshrac. So I really think Ohio's best decision in this game so far was to buy that Blink, and I think the second best one he's going to make is to buy the Abyssal over having buyback. I think he has to make that play.
Well, in 300 gold, you'll get your answer, because that's how far away he is from it. And Mushy, he's actually going to go for the disable, so the Scythe of Vice will belong to him. So not looking too shabby for his items. Arteezy, I still want to see when he spends his money. 4,000 gold now on the Drow Ranger. Could buy the full Satanic if he wishes to, but that's only if he wishes to. That will actually sacrifice his buyback. And Courier's already making the trek for it.
The really powerful thing about having buyback on Drow this game is that you can die and get recalled after buyback. So you don't even need the Boots of Travel as long as Puppy is safe. But he might still go for the buy. As you said, the Courier is moving, but he didn't buy the recipe. This makes me think...
It's the Reaver.
Oh, okay.
He bought the Reaver.
Just didn't buy the recipe.
He actually only needs 280 gold to have buyback.
It's possible
So
he'll
technically
wait.
he just farms up the Ancients and he's got buyback available too. So
He
he doesn't
just
have to...
wants Satanic.
Okay, well... Caution to the win, Arteezy is Arteezy.
It seemed a little weird to buy the Reaver if you wanted to save, because he doesn't replace it with any item anyway in his inventory.
There's your wish for Ohio. The full Abyssal Blade has been purchased.
He is really strong right now. That is the single hero and player I've been most impressed with in this game because of how destroyed he got in lane and how many cases I've seen on this off-lane Bristle just not working. Ohio has proven this game that you can definitely still pull it off. I am very, very impressed.
Arteezy about to try and pull something off on KOSY. Doesn't break anything, but just still attacks him. Mushy blinks forward, starts off with a Hex on Arteezy. No follow-up, and in fact, all of Fnatic have left their base. Hook shot up, they caught out Mushy. With the cogs pushing him back, he's got face shift available. Getting Eel Scepter first, allowing for the Blink Dagger timing. Up he comes to the high ground, while on bottom lane, the Force is still coming in with a creep wave. pushing it in. Ohio's BKB's protecting him, but he's out of mana. KOXY being mana leak, not also helping him out. No one's dead from Fnatic, but then again, maybe they don't need to be. The Rax is getting whittled away by the rest of Secret. They just took bottom Rax without killing a single Fnatic player. They could just rotate towards the top lane as well because the creep wave's already in, and that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that split push play once again from S4. Just, he's doing so much damage because of the Drower and his
Jump in, triple jump, the Abyssal Blade. It hits on S4, and then your Black Hole. Catching it on easy, the hook shot in. It doesn't stop Johnny, however, but the Corpse pushing all of Fnatic back. Is there time? Is there a kill? The Corpse went back into the game, but Arteezy. Sands is going up against Ohio. They've managed to reach up to him, so the damage is gone. Double silence. They're staying on top of the terrain, but Mushy still taking so much now with the Sun. Ohio needs more with the hook shot. Slides back in again, pushing him out. KOXY dying the Familiars. Is this it? Johnny's in trouble. Soul Suction will kill him. That's it. Triple kill for Kuro. Puck, the only one alive, and he is on the wrong side of the world. He has gone west where the skies are blue, and it is cloudy and GG, in fact, in the Fnatic base. Secret take game #1 up against Fnatic. One step closer to the semi-finals. But what a game from Fnatic as well. And I know you want to say it, man, the Bristleback, great play by Ohio.
That was such a good strategic win for Secret. I think the way they outplayed Fnatic in this game was simply just map movements and split pushing, taking advantage of Keeper for Light, taking advantage of S4 with the Drow Aura, being able to do so much damage with his Curious there. They get the bottom Rex pretty much for free. And I gotta say, the fight that breaks out outside the base, Mushi's getting desperate. He blink hexes the Drow really far out. There's no follow-up available. He just gets force-staffed, I think, and stays alive. Ohio lost all his mana to a mana leak, and he BKBs and actually can't do anything after that. He doesn't have anything left in the tank, and that's the bottom Rex. They rotate top quickly while Fnatic are in the fountain, and they actually just do 2 Rex in 30 seconds.
And it was quality play, and as you said, Secret outplaying him. Fnatic have to be really worried about this. It's not as though they're going to be saying our draft was bad. Like, they got probably what they were searching for. Like, you got Yellow Shrek. You're never going to be sad about that. The Bristleback still pulled back in, and he played as a solid core. The puck, Mushy gave every bit of control he was capable of doing, and even Kerchik. Like, he was in position as that SD, working all the time, and yet you still cannot topple Secret.